Depending on where you do your initial training, you may take off from a runway that is anything other than a hard surface. That could be sand, gravel, or even dirt. But for the most part, you are going to be taking off from a nice, smooth, paved runway. But at some point, you may find yourself taking off from a runway that's anything other than a hard surface. There's a specific procedure that you'll use when taking off from a runway that is not a hard surface. So let's talk about soft field takeoffs. As always, we're going to start with the why. The Airplane Flying Handbook tells us that takeoffs and climbs from soft fields require the use of operational techniques to get the airplane airborne as quickly as possible to eliminate drag caused by tall grass, soft sand, mud, or even snow. These techniques may also be necessary when climbing over an obstacle. The same methods are useful on a rough field where the pilot should get the airplane off the ground as soon as possible to avoid damage to the landing gear. So the goal here is to take the aircraft off the surface that's not smooth and get it airborne as quickly as possible to prevent potential damage to the landing gear. When performing this maneuver in an aircraft with a tricycle configuration, which has the nose wheel in the front, you should pay particular attention to the operation of the nose wheel while on the ground of the runway, that is anything other than smooth. The goal during the takeoff is to protect that landing gear. So when maneuvering on the surface that's anything other than smooth, you should use a technique that involves keeping the yoke in the full aft position anytime your aircraft is moving on the ground and during takeoff. Adjusting the yoke to the aft position allows airflow over the elevator, which can lower the tail, raise the nose, and reduce weight on the nose wheel. With that in mind, let's now discuss the procedure. Prior to taking the runway, you should verify the configuration of the aircraft, as specified by the manufacturer. For example, today we're flying the Cessna 172, and the recommendation is to set the flaps to the 10-degree position. Once you're given that takeoff clearance and have ensured that the area is clear, you can taxi onto the runway, again, making sure that the yoke is in the full aft position. When you're ready to take off, you can gradually increase the power to full power while being mindful of your pitch attitude. If you recall from your aerodynamic training, when you add power, the nose of the aircraft will want to rise. Combine that with the yoke already in the aft position, and the nose will tend to rise dramatically. So ensure that you increase the power gradually and adjust the yoke as necessary. As you begin your ground roll, I mentioned earlier that your goal is to get the airplane off the ground as soon as possible. With the yoke in the aft position, the nose wheel will lift off the ground and the aircraft will rotate at a lower than normal airspeed. Once you achieve liftoff, you should slowly and methodically lower the nose to keep the aircraft in ground effect, no more than about 5 to 10 feet off the ground. This allows the airspeed you didn't build while rolling down the runway to then increase while you're still close to the ground but in flight. You should maintain this sight picture, staying low to the ground while increasing the airspeed to either Vx, best angle of climb, or Vy, best rate of climb, for your climb out. It should be noted that if you're clearing an obstacle at the end of the runway, you may consider using Vx until clearing the obstacle. If not, you can climb out at Vy and continue as normal. During the climb out, you'll need to retract the flaps from the 10-degree position. Be sure that you have a positive rate of climb and you're clear of all obstacles before retracting the flaps. Retracting the flaps at a low airspeed or low altitude could put you in close proximity to the surface, as you lose a portion of your lift when the flaps are retracted.